Welcome to Dealing Hope. My name is Eddie Tupai, and I always enjoy this time of catching up with different leaders across the community and church and their engagement with culture at this time, giving us hope and also strengthening our faith as we serve in the new normal. This time I am catching up with Josh Taylor. Josh is the principal for the Southland Christian School based in Invercargill. And I am sure you're going to enjoy this conversation with Josh Taylor today. Josh, welcome to Dealing Hope. So good to have you join me for this episode. And we've been working on this for a little while, and between your schedule and mine, here we are.
Yeah, it took a little bit of organising, but we got there in the end.
Yeah, well, a principal has to adapt and adjust to all the things that come your way each day. Just tell us a little bit, firstly, off the bat about yourself. Where do you come from, and what brings you to this place? Bit of your journey, please.
Yeah, so my name's Josh Taylor. I grew up in Palmerston North and spent most of my years there. I then went to Avondale College to train to be a teacher over in Australia, and then from there spent a couple of years teaching at South Auckland Adventist School. After that, my wife and I did our big OE and did a bit of travelling around Europe. And when we completed that, we decided we would come back to New Zealand and basically go anywhere within New Zealand where I got a job. And it just so happened to be that was down here in Southland in Invercargill. So that's sort of where I've come from.
So a North Islander and a South Islander now. So yeah, a real Kiwi.
We won't go into comparisons.
Not today, not today. You are a rare breed in terms of a male in primary teaching, and schools are always looking for and hoping that there will be a young man who will decide to take on primary teaching. And what brought you to this place where you decided it was going to be primary teaching?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm the youngest of four siblings, and 3 out of 4 of us are all teachers and primary teachers. Being the youngest, I always said I didn't want to do that. I had 2 older siblings who were teachers, and I didn't want to be like them. When I got to the end of high school, I realised that actually there's a reason we're all teachers, because it's something that we're passionate about. It's something that we're good at. And yeah, I figured that was a good way to use my gifts for God, I guess. To be honest, I'm not too sure why I ended up in primary as opposed to secondary, but I love it, and it's probably just that I can influence students as early as possible towards the Lord.
Yeah. So from Palmerston North, teaching in Auckland, and right now you are in Invercargill, principal of the school there, and just recently opened up a new school that you moved into earlier this year. And what interested me when I, looking at the way the building is set up and laid out, there's an interesting approach to teaching that you have engaged in there. Share a little bit about what that looks like and the thinking behind it. And I'd be even interested to see if you could, if you could share a little bit about how it's working since you moved in February.
Yeah, so it's obviously been very exciting for us to move into our new building. We're basically outgrowing our old space, and having a nice fresh place. Just it's exciting for our students and our staff and our whole community. The way we've designed our classroom block, we have a central hub area, and off that come all our classrooms. So we've got 2 junior classrooms on one side and 2 junior classrooms on the other side. There is a lot of glass in our school, so you can see in from the classrooms into this hub area. And that's been quite an interesting little journey for us, because traditionally in schools, teachers end up having a bit of a silo mentality that this is my classroom, what I do in here, I'm the boss. I don't like anyone else watching me because this is my space. So we've sort of torn down the walls literally by having a lot of glass and windows in our building. That's also just created a bit more of a community feel in our school. I was a little bit concerned that, you know, students might spend half their time looking at kids in the other class, or, you know, teachers might feel like they're in a little bit of a fishbowl, but it's actually had the opposite effect. The kids just get on with their work. They feel like they're part of a big team as our school. And I've also heard comments from the teachers that they quite like being able to see the other teachers during the day. They feel like they're sort of all in this together. So that's been really positive for us.
I liked the idea there of the central space where, is there like a kitchen part too? So it's a community space where you come and eat as well, and it just helps build and facilitates being together.
Yes, definitely. We've got our little kitchen unit in there. Kids can do their heat ups in that area. We also have our weekly chapel program in that central hub. And it's quite a nice feeling of the kids all coming together from every side to meet in the middle. Yeah, we also have doors between each of the classes. So I know every now and again they'll open those doors up and two of the classes will join together to do something.
Okay.
But it also allows for the spaces to be separate as needed. So it's got quite a lot of flexibility.
The location of the school is also very special, being there right on the main road, there at an intersection where cars stop and they can't help but see the school. Believe it or not, I was in Rotorua earlier this year for a family occasion. I have an auntie and cousins in Rotorua. My auntie is from the South Island, just north of Invercargill, and her niece was there. Anyway, got talking to her about Invercargill and how I'd been there for the opening of the school. And she works not far from the Countdown there by the school, and her husband was involved in the work of building the school.
Oh,
and
there you go.
like, imagine that, just the connections. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to say and make, is just that opportunity of where the school is located, that visibility to the community is incredible. Have you experienced any more of those kinds of experiences or stories?
Yeah, it happens quite frequently, to be honest. Anytime I'm out in the community or talking to various people and they ask what I do, and I'm the principal of that school, and oh, that's the new one on the corner, and yeah, we are very high profile. You can probably see just out my window. That's the main intersection right there. Having our name, Southland Adventist Christian School, across the top of our building, it can be seen right down the road. So it means we're basically front and center of what we're trying to do. And it's quite interesting you mentioned those connections. There have been many times where we've had various people who have been involved in our school in one way or another. My wife was at a play group or a mum's meeting or something, and she was talking to some mum, and the connection came up that actually, yeah, her husband was one of the builders that had happened to be working on our site as well. So yeah, we're right in the middle of the community around here.
Fantastic. It's just, yeah, amazing. A real God action and movement taking place there.
We're also trying to link in a little bit with our neighbours around here too. At our old site, we were in a residential zone, which was good in one sense, but now we're sort of, there are lots of other entities around us. So we took our choir just across our back fence last week to the rest home, and
wow.
just such an easy trip for us to be able to bless our neighbours. There's also a preschool across the road that we have lots to do with, and we've made visits there. Just to be able to get out and about so easily and make ourselves known has been a real positive change for us.
I love your choir. It's great when the children get up and sing, and I enjoyed that chat also at the closing program at the end of last year, and especially the Māori songs that they sing. Let me switch gears a little here, Josh, and ask you about your experience in leadership and what you've learned so far. People, I'm sure, are looking here and thinking, this is a young guy and this is fantastic. I wonder what he sees from your generation and the way you're approaching working with people and trying to guide them in a particular direction.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much experience in this area yet. Sometimes I still feel like I'm quite new, but I guess for me, being a leader, often you're what people see, whether you like it or not. Your face is the one that's part of that entity. So for me, one thing I've learned along the way, and this came from some professional development a couple of years ago, often it's our manner in which we engage with people that people see. No matter what the situation is, no matter what the issue is, be it positive or negative, how we take things on and the manner in which we engage with people, that's actually more important than the issue itself. So if you're facing a challenge, going about it with a smile on your face, and just being genuine and open with people, that's what they see, and they will probably remember that more than the issue that they had in the first place.
Sometimes we do get lost in the detail and being right, and then the way we conduct ourselves, the way we process whatever the issue is. Yeah, I really do appreciate that, and I think that's so important. And I'm sure for young people, they're watching and taking note of more the presence of somebody, and not necessarily as much what they have to say. Why don't we finish off with a plug for your school? Tell us a little bit more about the school, give us as much as you can so that those who are joining in with Dealing Hope can learn about the good things that are happening there in Southland.
Yeah, always good to get a bit of marketing in for our school. So no, we're doing very well with our little school here. We've grown considerably in the last few years. We're now up to 4 classrooms. Our current roll is about 85, 86. Obviously, having a new building has helped in how people see us, but I was actually thinking the other day about that, and not much has really changed. We have a new building, and that's exciting, but it's our people that make our school what we are. We've got a great bunch of teachers. Our staff all get on really well together, and we've got a very supportive community. So what we're actually finding is that people who are coming to our schools, like the parents and things, they're bringing their kids here because we've got something different than what's out there in the state schools. We're the only non-Catholic Christian school in our city. And so we have people from many denominations coming and joining us, and they really just want that focus on God, but also on our values that we teach. So yeah, we're finding that's the real selling point for our school.
Yeah. And I really did see that your team work well together, a real positive vibe, but very committed to upholding the values of Christianity in your school. Josh, thank you so much for your time today. I've really appreciated what you've had to share, and wish you and our school there in Southland all the very best. God bless.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Great to catch up with you.
Cheers. Thank you.